Hey guys, welcome to No Talks Allowed. I am a host, Josh. This is the only time you're going to be hearing me is during this intro because I am off slaying some dragons. So I apologize, but if you're watching this on the video version, you can see that I'm wearing a coat and everything. That's because, I've been spending the past 3.5 hours outside, and I come in to record this intro for you guys. But this is a continuation of the talk from last week where Bigpod was talking with Tomaž, I believe his name is pronounced. I hope I got that right because, I haven't even heard that episode myself yet. But I hope that the conversation is still captivating for everybody. And I really, really, really wanted to talk with this guy, but unfortunately, life happened, so I was not available for the talk, and I'm kind of upset about it. But anyways, guys, I'm going to let them resume the talk. You have yourselves a fantastic day, and hopefully Bigpod remembers to tell you guys how to contact us, and I will see you next week.
Now for a bit of levity, I'm gonna ask you a bit of a funny question that actually came from Josh, the co-host.
Okay.
Pirates or ninjas?
Ninjas, definitely, 100%.
My kind of guy. Ninjas are definitely more interesting.
Ninjas are, subtle, require a lot of discipline. Their tooling is perfect. Their movement is well thought through, trained coordinators. But pirates are just assholes with swords.
And the only thing I get about pirates that would make me like them is the fact that they actually have unnumberable quantities of alcohol.
I have another thing for pirates, also a plus, and that's the fact I absolutely adore the sea. I am I live as far as you can get from the sea here in Slovenia. Unfortunately, there's other qualities to living here, but the lack of sea is not one of them. I love the sea, so if I would be able to live on a ship my whole life, then I would absolutely be a fucking ninja on a ship.
Well, yeah, one of my goals is to be able to, if I can ever have that kind of money, to buy myself a tiny home near the ocean, so I can, during the summer, since I'm a remote developer, what do I care where I am? I can be during the summer, I can be there, and during winter I can be here.
Same, brother. I also have that goal. Someday, when we're grown-ups.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, let's see. There are many questions I should probably ask you.
Go ahead.
What are you currently working on?
I'm fidgeting with stuff. Actually, I'm fidgeting. I should pick it up now. I should pick it up because I can show you. We were discussing today this. Yeah, these are fan covers. So we're picking different fan covers for the fan that will be on our router on the development kit version. So what am I working on? So I'm looking there because it's on my router is on the desk that I'm working on. And today I've been frustrated. Look. Sorry for interrupting myself.
Go ahead.
Sometimes you get not disappointed, but frustrating because a particular thing that in the grand scheme of things, if is irrelevant, unimportant, trivial even, but at that moment when it's giving you shit, you hate your life. Today I told my guys, the team that are working with us on the router, I said, I'm closing shop. I'm gonna be a gardener from tomorrow on. Like I don't like I you know why? Because I was so we're porting U-boot on U-boot is a bootloader that the
Yeah.
device when you turn it on you don't normally for people watching you don't when you turn a device on a chip usually doesn't know what to do, so it needs some small tiny bit of code that it tells it what it needs to do initially before it gets to the operating system, and that tiny piece of code is a bootloader, and one of the most popular bootloaders is called U-boot.
Well,
And
for us Linux users, that would be Grub. We're all on that grand unified bootloader.
yes,
but
in a
but
way, yeah.
it's an embedded device. It doesn't
Yes.
make sense for Grub to be
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Let's be honest.
Grub is a higher level,
Yes.
but yes, yes,
I think I'm gonna be honest. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna derail this a bit.
Sure.
Actually, you were the reason I went into how booting works, because I
Okay.
was listening to you. You were explaining this on one of your videos,
Yeah.
and I was like, now I want to know, because sooner or later I'm gonna probably have to explain this on the podcast.
Okay.
And I don't know what we were talking about, and I explained the whole process, because I was like, I went through the whole documentation for standards of booting for UEFI, and I was like, this is how things work.
Yeah.
And like I remember explaining like how Grub is like, how you don't have one bootloader, you have four sometimes with Grub. You
Yeah.
have four bootloaders. You have the UEFI bootloader, you have first stage Grub, second stage Grub, and if it doesn't like the distro, you have third stage Grub.
Yeah, it's the same. So unfortunately, all of them are called bootloaders, but it's
Yes.
a stage. But you're right. Like it's more
They're
of a stages, right?
It's stage one. Technically, stage one is the UEFI bootloader or the BIOS bootloader, depending on what kind of system you have. But yeah,
Yeah, in our case, BL1, so bootloader 1, or the very first stage, is inside of a tiny amount of memory that is in the CPU itself. So
Yeah.
when the CPU gets power, it actually runs the code that is within it to turn on the pins towards the NOR flash chip where it finds the BL2. So BL2 bootloader, this flash chip is tiny. It's 64 megabytes. And the only purpose of BL2 is to turn on the memory and to train the memory. And training memory happens in a second, like, because
yeah.
one
There is so little.
yeah, but RAM works at our RAM is configured at 1600 mega transfers. That's
second,
1.6 billion transfers
Yes.
per second, which means that 1 second it needs to train the perfect parameters for
Yeah.
itself to work perfectly, right? So today, but we've gotten past that. So today I was working on U-boot, because we need to develop our. So when you develop U-boot, you take a board that is already in open sourced, and then you modify it for your board, obviously. So you end up with a repo that is similar to another board that uses similar configuration, but then obviously you tailor it to your needs, because it would be stupid to do it all from scratch, right?
Thank you, device trees.
Yeah, thank you, device trees. Actually, device tree, in our case at least, it's a fairly small portion.
Yes, and for your use case, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Not a great idea for a laptop or a desktop. That's
Yes.
that's my reference point, and that's why I hate device trees.
Device trees are amazing. I
For embedded devices, they're amazing. For
Yeah.
something like, for when you're trying to develop a general thing, a general OS, it can
Yeah.
get a bit
Yeah.
insane what you need to do to get like everything working.
True, absolutely true. And yeah, so I tried porting it today, but I didn't quite succeed. So it boots, but I'm not happy with it, and I won't go into details because we could spend hours. But anyway, I'm quite the fact. So now I will pat myself on the back. The boards that we are working on. Can I actually show it to you? It's all connected. I cannot. The boards, I'm working on U-boot on the very first board that came out of the machine. So I'm proud of Alyash and another guy that's helping us. So they developed the hardware, and the fact that the very first board boots is amazing, which means the hardware is well designed. This is rare, and they've done a tremendous job when it comes to hardware design. It has some bugs, like that's why it's wait. I hope I can show you the jankiness. This is how, can you see it? Yeah, this is how it's all janky, but the fact that it works is absolutely amazing. We just had to remove 3 resistors from the board, and then it started to work, right?
Yeah. Now I'm gonna switch topic a bit. Let's talk about software because, well,
Sure.
since you're like making your hardware in somewhat in open,
Yeah.
will you open source or at least be open with your software?
All of it.
Ooh,
All of it. Even bootloaders, all of it.
nice.
All the codes that we ever produce will be open sourced from beginning, from zero. All of it.
So, what is the base operating system you're currently looking at, or are you? I'm gonna like automatically. I'm gonna put you. Is it BSD or Linux?
Both.
Okay. Nice.
I don't see why not. And I'll tell you why. So one of our investors actually is a huge fan of FreeBSD. Personally, I am familiar with FreeBSD. I'm not an expert by any means. I am very good in Linux, good experience, let's say. And the technology that we're planning to go with for the end product does work on both, and that's why I say both. Because what we want to do is we want to take VPP. VPP is Vector Packet Processing, developed by and open source by Cisco, and they have so you have to have almost a PhD to understand. I don't understand it. The plan is to hire people who do understand it. But what they have done really well is that their API is really well documented and it's extensive. So if we take VPP that runs both on Linux and FreeBSD, FreeBSD, and what's even better, NXP, so the manufacturers of our CPU have a port of VPP that supports their hardware offloading, and it's all open sourced, means that we can just take it and build the interface layer on top of it. And we have so we have NXP's hardware accelerator in the CPU. On the operating system low level, let's say, so layers, VPP is layer 4, wait, I'll say, so Mac is layer, so it's layer 3.
Yeah.
So we have layer, because, so DPDK, that's a dependency we won't go into, is layer 2, then VPP is layer 3, right? Because Linux brings layer 4 and up. Anyway, where I'm getting with this is, so we have hardware accelerator, which is part of the CPU block. Then we have VPP, which is layer 3 on the operating system, and then we just have to build our own interface on top, right? And all of it throughout the stack open source.
So, but what will you ship?
On you mean end product or development boards that are currently working?
End product.
This.
Yes. So.
Yeah.
But.
Well, we're planning to. We're hoping to.
Now I have a bit of a question, and this is probably too early, but the OS you're going to be using, immutable or not?
Both. So we want to make. Actually, we had talks about this last week with the team, with our other firmware guy that's helping us on the topic. So how can nothing on our device will be locked. So the one thing that we want to ship with is Well, it will be immutable Linux inside the NOR flash. So as I said earlier, we have two storage chips. One is NOR flash, which is tiny but super reliable, will work forever almost.
Yeah.
I'm exaggerating, but it's only 64 megabytes. Of those 64 megabytes, we need about 5 megabytes for the bootloaders. The rest we can do whatever we want with, right? So the rest, let's say 50 megabytes, we can use for a Linux distribution or a tiny Linux image that will live there, and that one will be immutable, and well, you will be able to overwrite it with the debugging tool always.
Yeah.
So it won't be locked, but it will not be meant for the end users to tamper with it, because we want the device to always be bootable, right? So that you can plug it into your serial port, connect to it through your machine, and just turn it on, and then boot into this safe Linux, tiny, but has just enough functionality that you can flash the bigger device, which is the eMMC chip, which is a 32 gigabit device on it, and then you can put whatever you want. We will, of course, prepare images for, what we think is the best use case for recovery, for emergencies, for whatever, and or have immutable overlay, so to speak, right? Or no, the overlays,
the overlay is readable part.
Exactly.
Part.
Yeah. Exactly. Have.
I know way too much about this stuff.
Yeah. So what I'm getting at, what we want to get at, is having choice. If you like this, so we will obviously, we will not be. No company does that. Just support equally everything. We will have the golden
image.
The golden image, or the perfect, what we think is perfect, or what we think is best for the majority of our target audience. But if you as a customers will not agree with it, we will not only encourage you to use something else, we will even do our best to document it, or ask you to contribute back with the documentation, so that others can maybe use your approach, right?
So I am big on the whole immutable thing, immutable Linux. For desktop, I only use that. I gave a laptop with an immutable OS to my nephews, because I was like, you're gonna play a couple of games on it that I know that run perfectly. You don't need Windows, and you don't need anything that could break. And that's the thing. It has I don't even know when the thing updates. It's always up to date, because just the image gets updated, because it's all one image.
Yeah.
And same with my laptop. Just take that image and it throws it away and puts another one in its place.
Yeah.
That's what makes
interesting.
It great.
I never thought about it, because I don't care about mutability at all.
Yeah. If you wanna look at something like this, again, check out uBlue. But it uses the same technology in the background as Steam Deck's SteamOS.
Okay. Yeah.
It uses OS 3, which is one of the technologies used for this stuff.
Yeah.
They use the same thing to do. Of course, one of the things uBlue does is we use same system as Docker. Basically the same. Actually, you can build your own image inside Docker.
Yeah.
All you have to do is based on the correct image, the one for OS 3, and you can build using Docker, standard Docker things. That's how I do it. And in my OS that I use is actually open source on my GitHub.
Funny you should say all this, because I literally had a meeting last week. I was in the Netherlands, and somebody reached out to me from Utrecht. So I went there to see them in person, because they have a huge data center, and they have on premises for a lot of customers. And he mentioned something similar. So he asked specifically, how could we make our operating system to be just the container management, so to speak, right? And everything that you want or do or use is in containers that can be just tossed away at any point. And I never thought about it until he brought it up, because he was like, yeah, you can, because our CPU does support a lot of virtualization, so I could even pass the hardware offloading to an image.
Yeah.
Right?
So, well, and at this point, I actually did some research on the ubiquity stuff. All of it is containers. It's a very basic, from what I understand, it's very basic Alpine, and they have Podman installed, and then everything else is an OCI container.
Yeah. I mean, this is where the world is going, I guess.
Yes. And the great thing about this, you don't have to anymore care about your stuff like they're pets.
Yeah.
All you have to do is care about them like they're cattle.
Yeah.
Yes, it does sound kind of bad, like to think about you. We all, like all of us, want to like take care of our laptops, our desktops. We make sure they work. Well, I learned this from the UBlue project leader. He was like, stop treating your computer as a pet.
Yeah.
It is just a cattle. He's a server guy, a giant server guy. He also worked on Ubuntu, so he has that pedigree, but now works for CNCF, basically on containers and all that stuff. And he's like, everything should be a cattle, not pet. That's why this exists. The UBlue exists. That's why it exists, because it should be cattle.
Yeah, I honestly, yes. But we can have both, I guess.
Yes, like
so. I have a lot of cattle on my pet. That came out wrong. But on my server, I like my server, so he's a pet, or it's a pet, I should say. But on the server, I like 90% I run containers, which are cattle.
Well, honestly, like she's like car people talk about their cars as women. We can talk about our computers however we want.
Exactly. So true, sir. So true.
And my systems are all like cattle. I was having problems with a server, one of the servers, which it's an old drives have 5-year on time. Hard drives 5-year on time, which can tell you that they're probably not just 5 years old.
Yeah.
And it was giving me problems. Plug in USB, nuke and pave, and let's go again.
Yeah.
Until I got it right. Now it works.
Yeah, well, as long as you don't run, anything that you can do that, then it's fine. Like the one of my NASs, one of the drives is reporting errors. I have to replace it soon because I have all my whole YouTube archive on there, and it's a lot of footage by now because like my average video is like 30 to 50 gigabytes on one video, so it takes a lot. So I don't want to lose that. But but for my server that has my Docker containers, I could rebuild it in minutes, really, honestly. I don't care. And I do offsite backups for my containers, like the storage for them. So the rest doesn't really matter.
Nice. So have you been thinking about, once you're done with this, any other device you want to make?
Actually, I had this talk with my mentor today. I do have a mentor that's from the industry. He's not part of it anymore, but he spent probably 30 years making hardware, networking devices at that. So he asked the same question, or maybe I asked something in this manner. The question that he had was, do you want to build more devices? And I said, you know what? I will let my audience tell me what to do next. Because the one thing I've been good at for this past year or so was getting feedback, but also putting myself or my own wishes. Like, I'll give you an example so I don't philosophize too much. For example, our router, I didn't plan for it to have USB-C power delivery, right? I just wanted to have a regular barrel plug. But when I was discussing the product itself in the early days with my audience, everybody and their mom said, put a USB-C power delivery on it. So it now
USB.
has, yeah. So now it has USB PD, yeah. And I planned for it to have one 10 gigabit RJ45 and one SFP plus cage. Everybody said, give us two SFP plus cages because it's more options.
I actually was on that same team.
See, so now the ones that I didn't listen to was all the people that wanted a x86, right?
Yes.
So there's a balance that needs to be struck, and so far I can say I'm succeeding in this balance. And from the 600 pre-orders that we already have, paid ones,
Nice.
I think that people are also happy with this. Me following my vision, but also listening to them, right? So if you have a big audience, and I'm super grateful for this is the unexpected outcome of having a YouTube audience is that they help you clear your thoughts into which direction you want to go. And if it wasn't for my YouTube audience, I wouldn't be here today, honestly. So
Yeah.
I'm super grateful, and yeah, so if you ask me what we're gonna do, I don't know. I'll let the flow dictate this decision.
Reason I asked is because Josh, my co-host, actually said that he hopes you make a switch next. He does want to switch, like to remove current switches, because he has TP links and he doesn't know how long they will be supported in around the world. So he would like to sooner or later switch to something else. And he said, hope he makes a switch.
I think he'll be better off just buying one, because he might, even if we decide to do so. So look, our router, we're 1 year in development, and I believe we're about halfway there, right? I mean, the development kits will be out sooner than that, but the final product, as me and Aljaž envisioned it, will take another year probably. We're hoping less, but we're prepared for more, so to speak, because even the certification will take a long time. Any kind of debugging, the manufacturing itself won't be done overnight, right?
Yeah.
There's probably some unknowns yet ahead of us. So even if we did decide before this device is out, we'll do nothing. So even if we do start to work on the Switch, it will happen in 2026, and then it will take a year and a half too. So tell Josh to go with a Switch that he can buy now.
Yeah.
But if he needs a new router, he might want to hold on for a couple of months.
Yeah. Well, since I'm going back to Ubiquiti, I'm actually gonna be buying some Ubiquiti gear soon, but specifically their APs. Yep. I need good APs, and honestly, it's not for me; it's for everybody else. So, as off hands as I can get.
I'm lucky enough that our house is a very square in shape, or cube if you want. Yeah, cube is better. And I have a stairwell at the center of the house, which means that one good AP in this above the stairwell or staircase just turned like on the ceiling, covers my whole house and the basement, and even in the garage I can get it, the Wi-Fi. And it's not Ubiquiti, it's a Ruckus. I bought it because of one of the Linus Tech Tips video that's probably 3 to 4 years ago. He showed one of the Ruckus devices, and I was like, I want that, and I'm super happy, and it's working. Zero problems at all ever. So yeah,
I've been doing way too much on the Wi-Fi side because I need to work, and my problem is that we have it's a European house, so everything is made to not work with Wi-Fi.
Yes,
and I need to make sure that everybody has good Wi-Fi coverage, because otherwise, It's why doesn't internet work? I am the one who gets blamed for internet not working.
Yeah.
So
I fully see myself in that position as well all the time. So yep.
now a bit of a like as a tinkerer, like software tinkerer and server tinkerer. Have you ever thought about like your router not being used as a router?
Yeah, sure. Actually, we do plan to test this out. We're not there yet, but I want to test it as a home assistant hub ish. So I will try everything and anything, honestly. So the one thing we didn't get to put on this version, there's no concrete plan. We have to discuss this. So regarding GPIO, what kind of pins we're gonna expose towards, users. I can't make any promises at this point yet because we're running out of space on the board. Nothing else. Like the board is so tiny and crowded for the amount of for the size that it is. It's surprisingly capable, and I have to give props to Aljaž here because they designed it really well, so they could fit everything on it. And if you haven't seen it yet, you'll probably see some pictures on Blue Sky or my YouTube or whatever. It's really, really crowded, so we're running out of space to put any kind of headers on there. But yes, to answer your question, I like it. It will be in a nutshell when you if you ignore its networking capabilities, it's just a Linux capable machine device, 4 cores, 1.6 gigahertz, 8 gigs of ECC RAM. It's a damn good Linux machine at that, right? So yeah, perfectly fine. If you find other uses, I don't see why not. As I said, I'm all about giving people a choice.
When I get one, which I probably will sooner or later, when I have disposable funds, I will probably not start using it as a router, at least at the start, because currently I don't have like the way I want my network to set up if I'm gonna use a router, because I'm gonna split my room from the rest of the network, but I don't have the switches ready for that. So, and I won't have for a while because at that point I'm gonna switch to 10 gigabit, like full on, and probably go fiber only, except like the laptops and stuff like that, because they cannot have fiber.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna, meanwhile, if I get it before, I'm gonna use it as a like either a build agent or like an RMB agent, or like put on DNS and stuff like that. Things that are like always need to run, and like having it on a low power ARM device much better than on a big chunky desktop.
Agreed. I do have a fiber throughout my house. 10 gigabit, and I love it. So yeah, you should do it. I fully encourage that.
Now, before we stop, I'm gonna ask another question.
Sure.
This management, have you given any thought between having management on the device or having separate management and having just an agent on the device? And by that I'm clearly referring to the same style Ubiquiti uses.
Yeah.
Or having both. So the reason I'm asking that is because if you have an agent, you can then users all they need to do is just talk with that agent, and they can deploy their own code, or they have like their own UI and stuff like that, without really rewriting the whole they need to rewrite the whole backend. And of course, to have all of the devices, let's say if they deploy multiple routers for whatever reason, which could be my thing at the end of the day, I would want to interface with them from one interface instead of I want to change the which IP is this router?
Yeah, actually, this is the same guy that I spoke with last week that I mentioned earlier from the Netherlands. He asked the same question because it's also part of this containerized strategy, right? So that the agent itself is also containerized. So it falls into the same approach. I would love to. However, we need to find a way that is also easy to understand and can be implemented in a secure manner, because
Yeah.
if you have an agent or if you have a management that is outside the device, it needs to be secure
Properly secure, yeah.
but like our whole
I'm
shtick, or if when I speak about our router, I tell openness, transparency, and security, right? Those are the three pillars, I believe. Quality is also an user experience, but that's kind of
implied.
That's implied. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. So if it's not secure, then what's the point?
What's the point? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
So
I'm the security guy. I am such a security guy that I don't use third-party libraries if I don't have to.
okay, yeah, I'm not that.
I'm insane on security.
Yeah, I'm somewhat in between, I guess. So at some point you
don't be me.
Yeah. Sometimes it's it's a trade-off about how much you want to be bothered with this, because if you're too paranoid, you can just look at this all the time and spend a lot of time on it, or you can be most people don't even care, so that's the other extreme. I have a bit middle ground, pragmatic approach, right? I'm aware of it, but I also know where to not care, or let's leave it at that.
Let's just what browser do you use for your computer, or on your computer? Chrome. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm an Edge guy.
I don't. What?
Yes, even on Linux.
Look, Edge uses Chromium anyway, so it's
yes.
What...
I have RAM usage is slightly better. That's the only reason I went with Edge instead of Chrome.
Yeah, it's not an issue on Mac. So my daily driver for my majority of my work. So I use Windows for two things: game, and when I need to work on hardware, because unfortunately, the majority of software that is written to work with on the hardware while developing. So I'm talking this NXP comes with so the NXP CPUs, for them to develop for them, you have to buy a license that costs like $3,000 per year per person. It's called Code Warrior Development Studio, and it only works on Linux and Windows, but it doesn't work on a Mac. I don't have a Linux box here dedicated with a screen. I don't want it, so I just use Windows because it's already here.
Yeah.
And for compiling, I compile both on Windows machine and on Mac, and Mac Studio has 64 gigs of RAM and Windows has 96. So Chrome was never an issue when it comes. Like, it can take however, like, it's probably been years since I looked at memory consumption of anything.
Also, I'm a big defaults guy, and since Windows is the one thing that I like as little change as possible, so that so I have to care as little as possible. So I was like, either install Chrome on Windows, or I install Edge on Linux, or I install also either Edge or Chrome on Linux. Let's go Edge, because defaults matter, and Windows has by default. I'm a lazy guy.
I use Edge for one thing only.
Install Chrome.
Exactly.
Well,
but since you said the defaults, this is how I feel for iPhones, right?
Yeah.
I like when people were bitching, when I saw comments and wars and whatnot about technology or phones in particular. They said, I want to be able to change the icon color. And like, what the fuck do you want to change an icon color for? What does that bring you in life? Like,
nothing.
We all have so much bigger problems than you care about. I mean, okay, it's. I sound like a judgmental asshole, but in this regard, I am. Like, what the fuck do you need another icon? Like, it's fine. Just use the one that's given to you. You have bigger issues in life than. Me neither. I have the default wallpaper. Yeah, same.
I haven't changed a single wallpaper, whether it be phone or computer, since so many years. Like, the only time I changed my wallpaper, like, since I started Linux, was when I was part of the Ubuntu Mate team. So Ubuntu Mate is a flavor of Ubuntu.
Yeah.
and I was like big part of that team. Only time I changed it when I was like switching between. First time on install, I switched between the green wallpaper because it had a green wallpaper.
Yeah.
I switched to a grayscale version of it. I went so far to switch colors.
Yeah.
Just that far.
Since we're talking about it, years ago, when I was a huge Marvel fan, I went all to see all the movies in the cinema. Now the latest movies are all trash, but back in the day, up until the End Game,
Yes,
they were amazing. And after End Game, it's like you can find a gem here or there, but mostly trash.
I like some of them, specifically and people think I'm an idiot, but I like the Multiverse of Madness, the Doctor Strange one. And people think I'm an idiot.
No,
but I like Doctor Strange.
Dude,
like,
you enjoy what you don't.
Honestly, I was hoping it would be a bit more scary than it was. But that ghost cape was fucking awesome.
I've watched it, but I don't really remember. What I want to say is, when not Endgame, when the Infinity War came out, I found a really good phone wallpaper with Thanos and all the cast, right? And I really like that because it was, I like neon colors, and this wallpaper is very neon-y. So I installed it on my iPhone. I still have it to this day, which is like, 7-8 years now?
Yeah.
Because when I change an iPhone, the iPhones have this, you just kind of clone itself on the new device. Automatically just works, right?
Yeah, and everything transfers, including the wallpaper.
So I still have Infinity War wallpaper from like 7-8 years back, right? So yes, I'm a very lazy person when it comes. I don't change any settings. It's like default colors, default button position. Like why? I have bigger issues in my life than fucking caring about an icon and colors.
At that time, I was so much of a Marvel head that I actually went and. I was in the middle of a class. I was like not higher education beyond. So I was already at the diploma level, and we had like when professor just talks, you can be there or not.
Yeah.
And I was like, and since I was at Šolski Center Novo Mesto, which is basically a stone's throw away from the cinema.
Yeah.
I was like. When is Infinity War? Oh, in 15 minutes, and I have 2 hours of class yet. I packed up my laptop and I just walked out and went to watch. Professor looked at me a bit funny and I said goodbye, and that was it. It was true that I was there because I wanted to be, not because I had to be. Professor asked me why I was in class.
I have a similarly odd story about Infinity War. On a Monday, I would look at when it comes out, and it came out in Saturday, right? But I wanted in Slovenia we don't have an IMAX cinema, and it was recorded on IMAX.
Yeah.
So on Monday, I would buy plane tickets to London for Friday. So
that's dedication
for me and my wife. So on Friday we would fly to London, check in, sleep. No, I'm lying. No, it was the same day. Yeah. Oh, even that. So Saturday early, I got up at 4 a.m. on Saturday, drove to Budapest airport because Ryanair is like 50 euros per ticket to London. We flew to London. We landed at around noon, took the train to the city, checked in the hotel, had lunch, seen the movie, went to bed, got up the next day. So that was Sunday, flew back home. So I went to London to see Infinity War.
Okay.
Just to enjoy it on an IMAX screen.
Yeah, Endgame was a masterpiece.
Yeah, it was, honestly.
But like, the best one, like for experience wise, I had in cinema was Civil War. And
really?
For a single moment, I remember I was like, we were all. It was up until the airport fight. It was a fun movie, all that, and I remember how basically when Rhodey fell to the ground, it like chill went through the whole room.
Okay.
And after that, there was no laughing anymore. There was no cheering, nothing. Like everything went down with Rhodey. Like that's why I remember that one specifically so much.
I like closure in my life. Well, my not finishing the college doesn't really help in that argument, but I do. Uh, and I watch movies till the end. Infinity War, I stopped mid-movie because I found it so boring.
Civil War.
Civil War, sorry. Yes.
Yeah,
I couldn't.
It was
I
a bit
couldn't.
slow
For me,
movie.
for me, it was too slow. I was probably tired. I
Yeah.
needed more endorphins to kick in, and I just was like, okay, this is. I'm not. And I literally went to bed, which happens once every 1,000 movies.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't feel
These days, really, Marvel needs to step up. Maybe the change in pace that they are planning because of events that happened that weren't in their control. Maybe will bring some change, but we'll see. We're gonna see what happens with Fantastic Four. We're gonna see what happened with, since RDJ returns as One Doom for some reason.
Yeah,
I don't get that. I don't get that idea.
Me neither. He's dead. Leave him alone.
Yes.
I mean, his character is dead. Leave him alone. Don't recast him as another. I know why I did it. I know why they did it, because RDJ attracts crowds.
He attracts crowd, and he's a crowd pleaser, especially in the Marvel scene, because
exactly.
he was kind of the reason also.
Yeah.
And I think they can spin it well. But we're gonna see how they will spin it. I think they can spin it well with the whole multiverse idea. I think they can do a really good job of spinning it. That will make it actually make sense why he has the same face as Tony.
Yeah.
But we're gonna see how they will go about it. I think they have potential, but what happens is a different story. Now we'll be going on for a way too long now, so I'm gonna start doing the podcasting. So first of all, thank you guys for watching. So if you want to contact me or Josh, we have an email at contacts@taxbase.com, which should on video version appear right below me because there is an animation I made. Then if you want to contact us on one-on-one basis through social media, you can do that through, we're both on federated social media like Mastodon. So I even run my own server, so I'm stupid like that. And you can also see that down below, and both of us have YouTube channels. I upload once every year, so I don't know how much you want to watch me, but Josh apparently has a video planned, or it's maybe even uploaded by now. You can check it out again. It's all down there, and if you do not want to write from screen, you have either description or podcast notes where all of this is also written in. And if you're interested in the show and want the show to get better, want the show to continue beyond just what is, and maybe expand the universe, check out our Patreon. We're trying to get a bit of money so Josh doesn't have to pay for all the things we do out of his own pocket. So maybe help him there. Like, it's little things. It's the server cost. It's that bit of it. And maybe I can have a paid video editor software instead of paying it out of my own pocket. Little things. And well, I don't think I have any more links to tell you guys about. So I'd like to thank you, Tomaž, for joining me on this episode of No Tax Allowed.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure as well, and it was a very good conversation. We didn't need news topics to stimulate one. Yay!
No, I like to talk, so I wasn't afraid of that. And you do too, so we're similar in that way. So yeah, it was super pleasurable. Thank you.
So, for our premium listeners who those who are part of part of the Patreon get access to a premium feed. This week we do not have a pre-show because we were talking Slovenian, so you wouldn't even get anything out of it. But hopefully next week we're gonna get back to pre-shows, which Josh normally records. So that's also the reason I forgot to record. And I'll hear you and see you next time. Goodbye. And
Bye.